From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A myriad of things, and I would rather see the district go down that path than to start arming more people.
Arming school staff, the debate back in Billings Public Schools, how a new proposal is approaching the issue to a divided response.
One of those kids that participated, it turns out, did have the measles virus.
A community combating measles, how a Billings church is coming together to keep a viral outbreak from spreading.
God shows up in amazing ways, and today he showed up through First Interstate Bank.
And gratitude in action, what a surprise gift means for a nonprofit and those who it has served. Those stories and much more coming up in the next hour. Good morning and welcome back to Montana This Morning on this Tuesday, July 22nd. I'm Hailey Monaco here with Miller Robson. Good morning.
Good morning, Hailey. Good to see you. Good morning, everyone. It's the calm after the storm. Still seeing some stormy conditions just to the south of Glendive right now. An isolated thunderstorm coming through. We've got more of the same later this afternoon into the evening. One thing we're dealing with this morning, yes, that is a shot near Livingston. We do have some fog around parts of the Q2 viewing area, so just keep that in mind as you're heading out this morning during your morning commute. Our high yesterday of 83 here in Billings, about 6 degrees below the norm. Our low of 58, just a few degrees below average. We did get some rain yesterday, but nothing measurable at the airport. A big story yesterday, of course, the winds here locally. We had a gust over 40 miles an hour, so we're still in the hole for the month, but in terms of the moisture totals, we're still in great shape for the year. I'd mentioned Glendive seeing an isolated thunderstorm there. Do have some rain in the southeast corner of the state, maybe Red Lodge around the area, getting a little bit of rain this morning. Cody, looks like it's heading your way as well. Temperatures right now, we're in the 50s and 60s, 60 currently in Billings. We got 58 in Livingston, 51 in White Sulphur Springs, 62 in Forsyth and Miles City, 60 in Glendive with that thunderstorm, 59 in Hardin, 55 in Red Lodge, down in Cody where it's 60. We got 59 currently in Sheridan. Daytime highs today, though, going to be much cooler, 70s and 80s. Even more so tomorrow. We'll be behind a cold front, but it doesn't last. We've got more of those warm, hot temperatures on the way. Enough instability today still with severe weather in the forecast. We'll take a look coming up.
Thanks, Miller.
Okay.
We start off our 6 o'clock hour with a proposal on the table among Billings Public Schools. At a time when many are pushing to keep guns out of schools, Billings is looking into the possibility of bringing more inside. Last night, the school board took up a proposal to arm the district's safety coordinator on school grounds. Officials say the move would bring more safety to classrooms, but not all parents agree, believing it could lead to tragedy. Our David J. was on hand as several members of the public made their voices heard.
The school board looked at a policy that would allow appointing a school employee to be certified as a school marshal.
The marshal program really is taking that language and giving it more substance. So number one is not like I select or personally, but the board selects someone that has gone through the process, who has been vetted.
The school marshal would be able to possess, carry, or store a firearm and would need to meet some qualifications, including a permit to carry a concealed weapon, be certified by Montana Public Safety Officer Standards, and a background check.
Not necessarily as an officer, but it's going to be in the location where we have a situation that person can have a gun, which is a deterrent, who can then defend itself, and not against kids, which was mentioned. But we're talking about a world where people attack other people.
The school district has a proposal to authorize a school marshal who would be able to carry a gun and be there for safety reasons, but many at the meeting spoke out against that idea.
I think it's important that we don't start going down the path of just more armed adults. That has not proven to be effective.
I feel like the district is doing something that isn't evidence-based, and it's not based on peer-reviewed research.
No one spoke in favor during public comment of authorizing a marshal to carry a gun.
If we needed more armed staff, which I believe we do not, we should hire more SROs who have undergone extensive training to possess a firearm in a school setting.
I wonder where we draw the line if we say this person would be allowed to carry a gun. Would next year another kind of a person would be able to carry a gun?
But the district does see the benefits.
This is not opening the floodgates for teachers, coaches, and random employees, myself included, to have a gun. That's not what we want.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
David, thank you. New on Montana this morning, a rafter is safe after Livingston rescue crews say they were able to pull them out of the Yellowstone River. Livingston Fire and Rescue crews, alongside several other Park County agencies, say this all happened yesterday afternoon. In a release, crews say the person had fallen from their raft and were then briefly submerged underwater. Teams responded fast and were able to get that person out. They add that swift water rescue is highly specialized discipline that Livingston Fire and Rescue trains extensively for each year, and they add a reminder: always wear your life vest on the river. Now, we are learning more this morning after a deadly situation on the road in Carbon County. A Billings woman is dead after a weekend motorcycle crash near Roberts. The Montana Highway Patrol says the woman on the motorcycle was struck by a car Sunday afternoon. The driver of a Toyota 4Runner hit a deer and then collided head-on with the Harley Davidson. The 51-year-old woman was thrown from the motorcycle and died on scene. Her name has not yet been released. The driver of the Toyota, a 68-year-old Billings woman, was taken to the hospital with no serious injuries. It's a sobering stat, but one widely known across the country. Traffic accidents are one of the leading causes of death. It's why several hundred driving instructors and educators converged in Billings this week, making sure safe driving is always on the minds of parents and teens. Our Isabel Spartz was on hand as a group of local teens made their voices heard.
Driving is one of the most dangerous things that we do.
The facts are troubling.
No matter what state we reside in, teen traffic deaths are among the leading cause of teen deaths.
According to the National Safety Council, on average, 18 deaths occur each day from accidents, something that's been on the rise since 2020. But these deaths can be preventable, and in order to tackle this, who best to include in the conversation than the teens themselves? Several high school students shared their thoughts Monday at the National Convention of the American Driver and Traffic Safety Education Association. Among them, senior high sophomore Wright Edwards, who has learned a lot from his older sister Ellie when it comes to driving.
We take driving super seriously in our family.
She's kind of like a guinea pig. So I kind of piggyback off of what she did well and what she did bad.
Totally.
It's why they were part of a group of students selected by retired senior driver's ed instructor Jody Stugelmeyer to speak at the 69th annual conference, which welcomed 200 instructors from across the country to learn new teaching methods.
We're trying to pick up things that other states might be using that would help us as teachers, and I think they're picking up some things that we do in more of the rural areas as well.
Each team here shared perspective on what they felt worked in their driver's ed courses and what didn't.
I think super hands-on and a lot of real-life scenarios, and definitely getting also to know your students really helps create a connection.
I think that's one of our greatest opportunities, is just to simply listen. Learn from the teens. They can be brutally honest. If it does not work, we need to evolve to meet their specific needs.
Needs that will be implemented into future driver curriculums.
Driving is, I feel like a lot of people in this country look at it as like a necessary evil, right? There's going to be deaths because we want to drive, and that's just the way it is, and that's not the way it should be.
Obviously, if we're driving around, we'd like to make the streets as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Because we have things we want to do, and I know everyone else does too.
We're all here to enjoy an amazing life, so I think keep it that way.
In Billings, Isabel Spartz, MTN News.
Isabel, thank you. A fire in Lolo National Forest, which drew a lot of attention over the weekend, has been determined to be human-caused. However, forest officials say what led up to that fire start is still under investigation. So far, the flames, which are burning near Missoula, are scorching around 100 acres, with 160 firefighters still working to contain the blaze. Firefighters continued to work Monday, securing the fire lines, while aircrafts continued to drop water on spot fires. As of this morning, there are around 50 active fires in the state, with nearly 15 of those beginning since Sunday. In continuing health coverage, around 170 people may have been exposed to the measles in Billings. It comes after a school-age child was diagnosed on Friday after attending a vacation Bible camp at Cornerstone Community Church. Now, concerns are on the rise. It won't be the last. It's a story we brought you first after a pastor informed his congregation of the efforts the church is doing to stop the outbreak. Our Hannah Pettiferi has the latest on what we know.
So love this community, and they do not want to do anything that would put it in danger.
On Sunday, Pastor Jeff Romans gave a solemn message.
We're sorry for anyone that it affects. Because it also not only is hard on these families, it's hard on this community.
which stems from Yellowstone County's first measles case.
One of those kids that participated, it turns out, did have the measles virus. So we had about 110 kids show up throughout the week, and we had about 60 volunteers helping us run the Vacation Bible School.
Once the church found out there was a case of the measles, leaders sprang into action.
The moment that we found out that there might be a case of measles, we took immediate and proactive actions to try to stop or slow that spread.
While most of the congregation has been vaccinated, leaders made sure everyone was taking precautions.
We worked hand in hand together to try to make sure that we would eliminate or slow the spread of this thing as much as possible.
And Megan Littlefield, the chief medical officer at Riverstone, says that means quarantine for those without the vaccine.
You've been exposed to measles and you are not vaccinated, or you're not immune, otherwise immune to measles, then we ask those people to quarantine for a full 21 days after their last contact.
Riverstone Health says someone can be contagious and not even know it.
We then start to look at who that person has been in contact with during the 4 days before the rash, which is when they are contagious. And we start doing outreach to whoever we can identify that may have been exposed during that time.
Pastor Romans thanks Riverstone Health for its assistance.
They provided a vaccination clinic Saturday morning.
And he adds, while it will take some time, the church will get through this ordeal. In Billings, Hannah Pettiferry, MTN News.
Hannah, thank you. Turning to Washington this morning, President Trump has been out of public view, but very active online over the last couple of days. One post in particular on sports teams is generating reaction. Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
President Trump said in a social media post he may block a new stadium deal in Washington if the Commanders do not change their name back to the Redskins. The team made the change in 2022.
The president was serious, and as part of the art of the deal, part of his negotiating skills, as you know, sports is one of the many passions of this president, and he wants to see the name of that team changed.
City officials and the Commanders announced a deal in April to bring the team back to its former home, the RFK Stadium site. Washington's mayor dodged the controversy when questioned yesterday.
What I'm concerned about is we haven't done our part, and so we need to complete our part so that the team can get to work.
President Trump also wrote the Cleveland Guardians baseball team should change their name back to the Indians, but the White House was more interested in new job approval ratings released after the president's first 6 months in office.
His approval rating with the Republican Party is actually at an all-time high. He's polling 90 to 95%.
A CBS News poll shows overall President Trump's approval rating fell 11 points since February.
Donald Trump is deeply unpopular. The American people clearly recognize that the Trump administration is in free fall.
President Trump also posted about the Brian Kohberger plea deal, writing that he hopes the judge will compel Kohberger to explain why he killed 4 University of Idaho students at his sentencing hearing tomorrow. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Trade will be back in focus later today, with Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos meets with President Trump to try to work out a more favorable tariffs deal before an August 1st deadline.